Hello everyone, welcome to From the Star Wars Home Video Library. I'm your host Nathan P. Butler, and this time this is episode 71.1. It is supplemental going back to the episode on the very first VHS release of any kind for Star Wars, which was The Making of Star Wars as told by C-3PO and R2-D2 on VHS from Magnetic Video Corporation. Now, at the time, I was all excited because I managed to get my hands on the 1979 first VHS release of any kind for Star Wars, which was the first release of The Making of Star Wars, and that was this. You may recall, though, when I showed it to you that I made a point out about basically how it just doesn't have top or anything. It's just kind of messed up, kind of weeble-wobbly kind of thing here, not the best of shape. And then you have the tape itself right there, a little discolored, not the best of shape. Well, I lucked out recently. Good fortuitous timing, I guess you could say. I just happened to be looking around for various eBay auctions and ran across one run by a fellow fan and a fan of this show, Lucas Coker. And Lucas happened to have in his possession and be selling on eBay not quite just this, but a better copy of this to start with. So I'm going to set this one aside for now, because I want to give you in this episode a better look at what that is supposed to look like when it's not beaten all to crap, and give you a chance to see something else to go along with it, along with some clips. You may recall that when I put this copy into my VCR, and yes, I did have to order a new VCR a while back because my old one died, and thankfully Walmart's website does still sell VCR DVD combo machines, so if you need a new one before they disappear forever, you might want to get one from Walmart.com. But I put this in there, hit play, and the video wouldn't stabilize enough to actually come through the system. Instead, what I got was the sound without the video, which wasn't going to do me any good. Which, by the way, I've had people ask me, how is it that you actually do that kind of capturing? It's very simple, actually. It's like a dongle thing. There's a program called Roxio, like the burner, DVD burner, CD burner company that does those things. Roxio has a thing called Easy VHS to DVD. Mine's version 3. I mean, I'm sure they're on like version 5 or 6 by now. But it comes with basically a little program that you use to do all the digitizing and whatnot that lets you watch the VHS as it's playing on your machine on your computer. But all that it really requires to make that work is some pretty straightforward hardware here. What you've got is a little Roxio dongle here that has a USB plug on one side. Then the other side has an S-video thingy, and it has, pop these off of here, it has your yellow video if you're not using S-video, and then a left and right audio piece. Then you just use your normal, red, white, yellow connectors here. Plug them in correctly. And then plug the other end into the back of the VCR, or DVD player, or Laserdisc player, or whatever, as long as it's got those connections. And whatever you play shows up in a window in the program on the computer, and you can hit record at any time. When you hit record, it captures whatever's playing, and then you can export it out as different file types at the end, and then go into something like Movie Maker or whatnot to actually do your tweaking and add your subtitles or whatever you want to do. But it's basically just a really simple piece of hardware here, and the program. So, Roxio Easy VHS to DVD volume or version number, what the heck ever. For those who are curious also, there's stuff like that you can do for old cassette tapes. I use one called the Hype USB Tape to MP3 Portable Player and Converter. It's basically kind of similar. I know we're a little off topic, but people keep asking. It's like a little cassette player. Pop your tape in. You can listen to it with headphones or plug it into speakers. It doesn't have a built-in speaker. And it's just got a little USB plug. USB plug plugs into the side, plugs into your computer, and then you run something like Audacity, your audio program, and it will treat this as it's playing as if this is a microphone. So it just records it normally. It's great if you've got old tapes that you want to turn into MP3 files. Just recently, I actually took the cassette, which you may recall is inside that Empire Strikes Back small Super 8 reel, the selected scenes 8-minute thing, and I digitized the audio cassette and was able to determine that the audio cassette actually does have the same content on both sides. But sometimes that goes awry and doesn't work, as was the case with this copy of Making of Star Wars. Well, that has been solved, finally we'll be able to show you some clips here. So, what are we talking about? Again, 1979, the very first Star Wars VHS release of any kind. The Making of Star Wars as told by C-3PO and R2-D2, which had aired in 1977 on television. This is the original William Conrad narration version, which is found on most versions, not the LaFontaine replacement audio that was on the tape in 1995. Here is a much nicer version of that, so you can see it a little better without the faded colors, too. Right, so we have our cover we looked at previously. Side, not as discolored this time. Yay! It's funny, he was talking about how, well, this one's condition kind of iffy compared to the other one. I'm like, this is beautiful! Because this is crap! Now, if you look at the back, again, some of the other fine videocassette programs available are, notice it is yellow. This was so discolored you couldn't really tell it was supposed to be yellow originally. And copyright date at the bottom, 1979. The tape inside, again, different color on the top, as was often the case with VHS releases at the time. And then you've got Making of Star Wars as told by C-3PO and R2-D2, time 50 minutes, legalese, blah, blah, blah. Stripe, and then black bottom with Magnetic Video Corporation there in white. Now, Magnetic Video Corporation, again, I said that one of the things that's a way of distinguishing this version from others, even if the label is gone, is the ability to see the Magnetic Video Corporation sort of intro lead-in, you know, saying, you know, well, gosh, we can digitize it now. Saying this.
By special arrangement with 20th Century Fox, Magnetic Video Corporation is proud to offer the following major motion picture on video cassette.
That's what kicks off this version and 1980. And in 1980, that is the other version of this, where basically it's the exact same program, but they've tacked on at the end of the tape, not the beginning. I think I may have said that wrong at the time. At the end of the tape, a trailer for The Empire Strikes Back. That version is now in my hands, thanks to Lucas. That is this. Notice it's got the sticker there. Plus, exciting new scenes for The Empire Strikes Back. Otherwise, your front cover is basically the same. Down at the very bottom of each, it's got 1977 as a copyright date, not for the VHS tape, but for the program that is on it. That does confuse people sometimes. Otherwise, pretty much the same. It's glossier. It's slicker. It's almost like it's got this like nice sheen over it, as opposed to the original, which feels like the cardboard that it is. Your sides that are identical, same identical product number 2, 1052. Your top. And then the back, pretty much the same. And just a very slight rearrangement of how the text is on there. That's another way you can tell. Some other fine videocassette programs available is left aligned on this one with basically little dots in between the titles. But then in 1980, it's centered and it has slashes in between the individual titles back there. And of course, 1980 down there at the bottom. But obviously, the thing that's easiest to distinguish is, oh, hey, this has a sticker saying it's got stuff from Empire. They're nice and tightly in here. Be very careful taking them out. This is the one I actually stuck in the VCR, crossing my fingers and praying, please don't destroy my tape. But you find that the tape itself is going to look a little different. Put these on top of one of those. 1980 on top of 1979. Magnetic Video Corporation's logo had changed going into 80, so it's got the different logo on that top one there. And then same kind of thing with changing the tape labels. All right, so you can see a stylistic difference there. White with a little bit of red versus white with sort of a golden brown and black there. And also on this one, color of the flap matches the tape. Not necessarily all tapes did that at the time by 1980, but this one happens to. One thing that's interesting about this, though, is that if you actually watch the trailer at the end, there's something unusual about it relative to many of the other trailers that we've seen for The Empire Strikes Back. This is the trailer, those exciting new scenes from The Empire Strikes Back that appears at the end of the 1980 copy of The Making of Star Wars.
The new chapter in the continuing Star Wars saga is now in our galaxy.
Now, what's kind of odd about that, the whole, it's not really dialogue-driven. It does that weird little, almost like shuddery sideways thing, almost like somebody's doing a transition in Microsoft PowerPoint. We're used to the idea that if it was a trailer for the films, well, they stuck that onto the 2004 DVD set of the original trilogy as part of that bonus materials disc, or that bonus disc. Same thing with the full-screen version. These have a whole bunch of original trilogy trailers. Ostensibly all of them, but not really all of them, because that one that advertises in 1980 that the film is already out and uses the scenes, that actually isn't on this set. There's one that's similar, but not that exact one. The similar one has some narration, and it does the sort of shutter effect, but it's over concept art. And when you get to the ones that actually use real footage, those are vastly different than these. I went through and actually double-checked all of them. Yeah, no. That one, the one you just saw, isn't present on here. It's something that's apparently a relatively rare trailer to find on home video. I've never seen it, I don't think, on any previous home video releases. It happens to be on the 1980 copy of Making of Star Wars. So a very, very cool find. Thank you to Lucas for putting them up on eBay to sell and for taking the time to have a conversation about them after the auction finished up. This is an awesome replacement for that really battered copy that I got a while back that I really now regret paying as much as I did for. And especially that 1980 copy that I hadn't been able to get my hands on before. These will both make fantastic new additions to the library, and hopefully seeing that trailer now on this one to give you a chance to get a sense of that, and finally getting to see that Magnetic Video Corporation logo will help you if you're trying to pin down this copy as well. With that, we'll wrap up this episode. Thank you again for watching, and thank you again, Lucas. May the Force be with the home video viewers.